everybody, welcome to Quarantine Coffee Corner. My name is Kristen, and today's coffee is Cafe Caramelizze, which is, I think it's like a macchiato. I don't actually know. But yeah, we're going to spit out our gum first of all, because coffee plus mint, well, I don't actually hate it as much as you might think. By the way, I've become a gum addict since this has happened. This is xylitol gum, and it's a really cool thing. I don't know if they do this in America, because I never buy gum in America, but inside these big ones, there's like these little things that look like Post-it notes that aren't sticky, and you rip them off, and like this is what you spit the gum out into, so then like there's not a problem. And that's it. It's gone. You have a wrapper to throw things away in. Like, I never chew gum. How many are in here even? I don't know, but I've become a gum addict. But yeah, we're gonna drink some coffee, and we're gonna talk about my most and least favorite topic, hobbies. Kristen, why do you hate talking about hobbies? Well, to talk about why I hate talking about hobbies, we have to talk about why I like talking about hobbies, which is that I have a lot of them, okay? I love hobbies. I'm a hobbyist. If you were to give me one title in all of my art things, you'd be like, Kristen, you're really good at making plushies, so you're like a crafter. Or you like writing, so you're a writer. Or you like acting, so blah, blah, blah. And I am a hobbyist. I like doing things. I'm pretty sure my hobby is just like doing. I like learning also. I just like to study. I've always been like that. A lot of people wonder how I even got into Japanese stuff. And I mean, it was like anime growing up with like Pokemon, Digimon, like Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor Sakura. But also, I was really into studying Chinese history, because why not? And then Chinese history led me into Korean history, which led me into Japanese history. And yeah, little Kristen was fascinated. And so I was actually into Japanese history before anything else. I was only studying like recent Japanese history, essentially. I like was studying ancient stuff, but the stuff that I came out of in Korea was like World War II stuff, essentially. So I was learning about like World War II and post-era Japan, which was interesting. And then after, I was like in college or high school or something playing Samurai Warriors with Hillary when I found out about Nobunaga Oda, the true love of my historical life. So anyways, about my hobbies, I have many of them. And the reason I hate talking about my hobbies is because there are so many of them, and I feel like a lot of people have a very straightforward answer. Like, what's your hobby? Oh, I'm really into cars. What's your hobby? Oh, I'm really good at sewing. And what's your hobby? Oh, I like reading about historical fictions of the Romantic era. Cool, great hobbies. What's my hobby? It's so impossible to describe. I don't know, what week is it? What did I do yesterday? And it came up very recently, because it's like the biggest small talk topic. And I just kind of go, oh, you know, lots of stuff. Crafting, photography, writing, anything really. I was really into yoga for a while. And it does kind of come back a lot, because people will be like, oh, Kristen, why do you know so much about computer programming? I get into computer programming sometimes. Every time I learn that there's like a new thing to learn, I'm like, ooh, I want to learn that thing. So I do. I know a little bit of computer programming, also from high school, because I took C++, which I forgot most of, to be fair. But it's come back to help me, because in my job, there's like a programming class that I don't usually teach, but occasionally I do. And in those classes, I'm like the only one who knows what's going on, because it's like I think it's called Blockly, but it's basically just like puzzle pieces versus like versions of C++. And that's great. If I had that when I was in high school, I would have had a much easier time. I remember learning if statements. And by learning them, I mean I missed the day when we did learn them. I was like sick, and I came back, and my teacher was like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, what do you mean you don't know how to describe it? So I had to like ask. There's a kid, again, people from my high school are watching this. If they know Jamie Kelly, he was in that class, and he's like a super big, huge nerd, awesome person who knows everything. He was way ahead of the class. Like, he was doing stuff the teacher didn't understand. And I'm sitting there like, Jamie, help me. And he was just like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. That was a great class. I was in that class with my friend Emily, and Colette was in that class. I'll use their names because I'm not angry at them. If I'm not angry at you, I'm not going to change your name. I just don't want to defame people I don't like. I remember, because like when you write computer programs, I don't think people know this who don't do it, but you can name things basically whatever you want. So like if I identify an item, like let's say, pretend the universe is a computer program. I have decided to make this an object. Well, what is it? Well, really, it's like a mostly empty bottle of small coffee, right? but maybe I just call it item A. This is item A now. I've decided that that's what it is. It's my program. I can name it whatever I want. Everybody can do that for all of their things. You can definitely, I feel like it's a personality quiz. Like, teach people computer programming and watch what they name items. Because whatever they name them is like the most clear-cut definition of their personality you'll ever see. So for example, when Colette would name things, she would name it like something obvious. Like, you know, this would be coffee. She would just call this coffee or coffee bottle or something. I'm like a simplist. I just want to write as few letters as possible, and it's kind of like all code to myself. So I might call it Kobo for like coffee bottle or something. Emily would write like half a sentence, like a bottle of coffee. It's like, why do you have to write the whole a bottle of coffee? And that was, I mean, like this is an example. Emily would write like 9 parts of a paragraph. I would have like an abbreviation, and Colette would probably do the actual logical thing most people would do. My other hobbies, though, I kind of just get into because of whatever reasons. Like, I see something and I'm like, yeah, I want to do that. My dolls, I don't know if I have any dolls here. Most of my dolls that I have in Japan, I actually use for like class reasons. Mimi-chan is in progress, but she's not done yet. I actually did make a doll. I'm gonna make a big one. If anybody knows Suzuki-san, my boyfriend who is in America, he's a giant teddy bear I made for a cosplay. But I've decided to make, because Suzuki-san's like a giant teddy bear, and I wanted, it's like a body pillow essentially, and I wanted that in Japan, but I didn't want to just make Suzuki-san too. So I've decided on a rabbit, and I like designed the whole thing, and it's gonna have like a crooked like ear, and it's gonna like look really cool, and I got all the pieces. I have a bunch of felt and all the stuffing. All I have to do is make her. And like 4 years after I bought all this stuff to make her, she's still not complete. That's one of the reasons I have a sewing machine, because I was like, oh, it's so hard. Like, making Suzuki-san took forever until Hillary let me use her sewing machine. Then everything went super, super fast. So I was like, oh, I'll get a sewing machine, and then I never used it. I should do that now. While I'm in quarantine, I should make that into one of these vlogs during the weekend, not when I'm at work and I'm supposed to be working right now. Shh, don't tell my boss. But I'll probably like talk and drink coffee and make Mimi-chan. That would be fun. That'd be fun. You can watch me slowly go insane as I try to remember all the measurements. I have like a template somewhere, and she's gonna have a knitted scarf, which is crazy. When I made Mimi-chan, I gave it to Tanya. People who know Tanya Fetzer is. She works at Rooster Teeth now. If you don't know, my friends, I feel like I shouldn't just say everybody's full name, but Tanya's like a public figure basically, because she's an animator, so you see like her name like on things. But Tanya's really cool. If you don't know Tanya, she's like the coolest person ever. 10 out of 10. Tanya's awesome. And if you don't know what Rooster Teeth is, you should go look it up, because Rooster Teeth is awesome. Ruby is probably the show most people would like. The tonal difference between each season's a little crazy. It's gotten a lot more serious. It definitely started a lot more goofy. Red vs. Blue is always amazing. That's actually how I knew Rooster Teeth was from Red vs. Blue. They have Camp, which Tanya works on. There's Nomad of Nowhere, which is great. It's 2D stuff. Also, studying Japanese is a hobby of mine. That's what it started off as a hobby. I started learning Japanese in high school. When I worked at Jewel Osco, I used to have like these like little flashcards that were on like a key ring, and I'd put them in my pocket. And when I was pushing carts, when I was waiting for more carts to like gather, I would sit there and go through all the hiragana and katakana, which are like the simple phonetic writing systems. And I learned hiragana and katakana in most like greetings and like simple sentences before I even touched an actual Japanese class. So I walked into Japanese class in university like, I already know everything. But I still sucked at katakana. Me and katakana are not friends. I made cake pops to try to remember how to do katakana. Cut to a picture of my katakana cake pops if I can pull that off. They were delicious, by the way. A great way to learn. What you do is you bribe yourself that if you can manage to remember it, you can eat the cake pop. And then like 12 cake pops later, you feel terrible about yourself, but you've remembered your katakana. I've always tried to describe like my place in hobbies. I think just exploring, I guess, is my hobby. Being bored is my hobby. Keeping my hands busy is my hobby. I don't know. I like trying to garden. I'm not sure if you all met him. Come here. This is my best friend. His name is TJ. If anybody has seen pictures of him in the past, he used to have a lot more leaves, but winter was not kind to TJ. He's still alive though. He's still kicking. Actually, I should put him over here. TJ has been around for 2 years now. He's doing okay. He used to be a little tree. He used to be, when I first got him, he was about this tall. So he's grown a bit. He could have grown a bit more, I think. Definitely didn't help when I moved and I repotted him, and then winter came and it was just, he wasn't ready for it. He wasn't ready for it. William was the first one, which is what their middle name is, Tobias William. Their middle name is William because William was my first tree, and I got him when I worked at Jewel Osco in the floral department. And he lived for a long, long time, but I didn't know patiras can't get a lot of sunlight. And so William, I put him outside for 10 minutes when I was like cleaning. I'm like, I'm just gonna give you some sunlight because you're always in my room. And then I went back out after 10 minutes and his leaves were just white. He totally died. And I tried to revive him and it did not happen. I just continued to kill him further. He was a big tree too. I've been thinking about getting like another tree that's like starting off as a big tree, because I feel like trying to raise baby plants might be my problem. I think like little plants don't like me. I think a bigger tree would be hardier and therefore has a better chance of surviving. But I feel like a lot of my hobbies have started to like intersect. So for example, I really like trying to make music. That's like my other hobby. Writing lyrics has always been a favorite thing of mine. I sing constantly. You might have noticed if you've watched anything I've made. I sing and talk a lot. I don't know when it started, especially when I'm panicking. You can know if I'm panicking because I start singing everything. I'm just walking around singing in a frenzy. Or if I'm very bored. But usually when I'm panicking is when I start to sing. I have a 3D pen. I was really into making 3D pen stuff for a while. I don't think I've showed everybody this. I also really like video games, so here's my Final Fantasy remake commemorative figurines, Cloud and Aerith. I'm not sure if I showed you them. It's the same thing I got my cup from. But I made a snow globe. It's glittery and it's wonderful, but all the things inside are either aluminum stuff that I was working with, or it's like 3D pen stuff. And I like that there's things on the side because then like it warps as you like turn it around. It's a good time. I like it. I was into watercolors for a while. I have watercolor pencils. I have pastels somewhere. I'm not sure if anybody knows. I like drawing every now and then. I'm not great at drawing. I'm occasionally okay at drawing. I have this. This is my most intricate one. I'm very proud of that torn apart moon. And then like the perspectives going on. I like actually had a ruler for once. Usually I just guess. This is more of my actual art style when I draw just like for me. Eyes are actually the easiest thing for me to draw. If I do one eye correctly, I do the next one wrong. It's Helen. She has no hands because oh no, she has one hand. She's a single hand, but I couldn't get the other hand right, so I didn't draw it. She's there for a video game I'm gonna try to make because I'm trying to make a visual novel with the help of a friend. I was really into sewing for a while, so I have some fashion stuff in here, which I'm not gonna show you because it's terrible. This is me actually drawing with eyes. In here, this is me drawing maps. That's all this is maps. Oh, and her. I like her a lot. I was very proud of her. She's got like her mouths over here. That was me doing mouth practices basically. I'm not the worst. I'll say it. I'm better than because a lot of my friends are like actual artists. So when I'm like, I'm good at drawing, I don't feel like I'm good at drawing because like I'm comparing myself to people who like draw. Like my sister is an artist. If you didn't know, my sister is May Stormheart. I'm gonna pimp her out. She's wonderful and I love her, and she's an artist and you should check her out. I'll have a link somewhere, maybe. Can I do that? Somewhere. Oh, I'll have a link probably below or something. You should check her out because my sister is amazing and wonderful. She used to have this comic book that was in like this little notebook, and she would like draw it with crayon, and like every now and then there'd be a new page. She like only updated every now and then. I used to just like read that over and over again. But that was like my favorite thing growing up. Like if you're like, Kristen, what's your favorite comic? I would be like, my sister's comic book, because I just loved it. And now I've read Sandman, and Neil Gaiman is Story Daddy, so talk to me, Story Daddy. You know, the reason I'm in quarantine is not because of the sickness. I'm in quarantine because I'm not allowed in the real world because of stuff like that. Being a hobbyist is extremely expensive. Just that. All of that. I'm not sure how much of that you can see, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 full baskets on that thing of just different hobby things like felt and stuffing, 3D pen, nail art. I was really into nail art for a while. I can't paint my nails because of work. Oh, wait, nobody can see my nails though anymore. I can paint my nails this month. Guys, I'm so excited. I should go paint my nails right now. I have 30 minutes though, and I'm gonna have to do things. Okay, after my next class, I'm gonna paint my nails. That's what I'm gonna do. And then I also have wire stuff. I have leather craft stuff, which I never really got into leather craft because I found out it was really noisy and I live in Japan, so it's a bad idea. I guess I get to do it outside though now. Ooh. And then gardening, I guess, is a hobby, even though I'm terrible at it. And I have all my Japanese study books over here. And then in the closet, if you're like, Kristen, that's not that much. That closet over there, the whole bottom, like half of it is just like crafting stuff, sewing or more felt. But yeah, I don't know. I got a lot of hobbies. It's probably ruining my life, but I enjoy them. So please don't ask me about it because I hate talking about it, but I also love talking about it. If you ask me about my hobbies, I'll talk all day about my hobbies. But if you ask me just the question of what is your hobby, that's a terrible question. Don't do that to me. It's going to stress me out, okay? That's all we're going to do now. My coffee's almost gone. I got to get ready for my class in 30 minutes. All right, so bye-bye. Hopefully this comes out today. Okay, bye.